Hello and welcome back to another edition of the Journal. Today I'm taking a drive out to Culp Valley in Anza Borrego Desert State Park. It's only about an hour's drive from Temecula, California, and the primitive campground is just off Montezuma Highway that leads down into the heart of Anza Borrego and Borrego Springs. It's a primitive campground, so there's not much there, but it is nestled between the mountains and the desert, making for a most unusual camping location. Today I'm out near, well I actually am, I'm in Anza Borrego Desert State Park, and we're at Culp Valley. This is what they call a primitive campsite. It doesn't cost anything, it's free, but it also has no amenities, so it doesn't have things you're used to when you go camping. It doesn't have running water, it doesn't have picnic tables. It does have one vault toilet that's a little farther away down the trail here, and it's reachable if you needed to. You just got to plan it out ahead of time, if you know what I mean. But there's a trail here called the Culp Valley Trail, which I'm going to take here in a minute. And you can tell that it's a very difficult trail because I've got my beer with me here, and I'm wearing flip-flops. So it's about 80 degrees here in Anza Borrego, which is actually cool for up here. We're at a higher elevation. We're about 3,500 feet. We're not down in the Borrego Valley proper. That's why it's a little cooler up here. You have a little more of a breeze up here. And, because there's no amenities, there's no fee to camp here. I was all surprised. Today's a Wednesday, the day after the election. And I'm surprised that it's almost full. There are only 2 campsites left. And all the good ones in the shade with wind protection, with boulders and trees were gone. So I'm kind of exposed and out in the open, but it is what it is. So tonight, maybe it'll cool down a little faster where I'm at. Well, in the meantime, I'm going to head up this trail, up the Culp Valley Trail, and supposedly up here a ways there's a lookout where you can actually see down into Borrego Valley and Borrego Springs. So that's what I'm going to do today. It's only a half mile, and the elevation change, get this, 91 feet. So I can do this in flip-flops and carrying a beer. Well, nothing says Anza Borrego like a good cholla cactus just waiting to get you. Lots of those along the trail here. This is also rattlesnake country. Maybe if we're lucky today, we'll see one. Well, last time I was down this way, we were a little farther down the road into Anza Borrego, and up on the hill we saw a small herd of bighorn sheep. They're definitely up here in this region, and considering just as you enter the campground area, there's a turnoff for Pena Springs. My guess is there's water most of the year there, and the animals know it, so I wouldn't be surprised to see bighorns coming up from the valley floor, working their way up to the spring. I'm going to go to the top of this hill here and check this out, see what's up here. Well, it looks like I'm working my way up around that boulder outcrop right there. My guess is that's the viewpoint. It's not too far. It is hot though, it's straight up noon. Nobody in their right mind hikes at noon in the desert, except me. You know, I read somewhere in somebody's post online that anytime you see a use trail spinning off the trail here, it's worthy of checking it out. So I saw this little, I don't know, a use trail, I guess. And I'll flip the camera around here in a second. You can see why I've come up here. Check this out. What is that? Looks like a fish with a head and teeth. Check that out, it's pretty cool, huh? Yeah, that's what I'm talking about right there. Isn't that cool? I don't know what that was. Looks like an eel, a moray eel or something. Well, I've been down the trail, I don't know, almost half mile. Looks like there's a trail junction here. So I don't know. It says Scenic Overlook to the right. Oh, it's right here to the right of me. That's a sign you don't see every day on a hiking trail. And a horse trail. I think, if memory serves me right, this might be the California Hiking and Riding Trail, which is a long distance trail for horseback and hiking. So this could very well be a confluence of the two trails. And there's something in the bushes right there. What is that? More than one. Squirrel, maybe? Ground squirrel is pretty big. Looks like we're coming up on a view of Anza Borrego right here. This must be the Scenic Overlook. And of course, we do have a view. To hold on to my hat here, I imagine it's going to be pretty windy right here. And believe it or not, it's really not that bad. And this is the terminus, the end of the Culp Valley Trail. And this is our view looking, I guess this would be southeast. In fact, way off in the distance, you probably can't make it out through the haze, is the Salton Sea. I'll zoom in here a little bit, see if you can pick it out. At the haze, you might not be able to. Borrego Springs is down there in the valley. And this is indeed a nice view from here. I bet you when the sun gets a little lower on the horizon, it starts casting shadows. It gets a little darker. This will probably be an amazing spot. I might have to come back up here in the evening. But in the meantime, I gotta get out of this sun. It's only, I don't know, low 80s, I think, but it feels like 95 in this heat. So I'm gonna work my way back to my little makeshift camp and crack a beer. Another beer. Well, it's a little later in the day, about 2:45. Sun is definitely setting to the west, and I decided to make another trip out here. I've already been out here once to the viewpoint, but I thought, well, I'll come out here again. The light has changed, the angles have changed. See if I see anything different this time up here along the Culp Valley Trail. You know, people think the desert's boring and it's dull and lifeless. And I've seen quite a few birds and lizards and rabbits and things already. And I've noticed quite a few holes in the ground all over the place. I'm pretty sure those are tarantula dens. Normally about this time of year, between now and like February, March, that's the tarantula mating season, and you'll see them out. They come out in the evening. You'll see them wandering around. Pretty interesting to look at, especially up close. They're pretty friendly for the most part. I've never picked one up, but I'm sure you probably could. But I'm gonna cruise back up here to the overlook and see if I can see anything different I couldn't see last time. There's quite a few rabbits running around. It's a little later in the afternoon. It's about 2:30, 2:45. So there's a little bunny. There's actually two of them over here in the bushes. He's getting ready to run. He's pretty friendly. Hi there, buddy. He's real small. I've seen jackrabbits a lot bigger than this. You know, it's funny, just in that couple hour window between noon and 3:15 where I am now, the sun has dropped, and even though it doesn't really seem to be any cooler, there's more shade. And on this same trail, I bet you I've seen a dozen rabbits so far. And I think as temperature continues to drop, we're going to see even more wildlife here out in Anza Borrego Desert State Park. The wind is stopped. It's like hardly any air, not even barely a perceptible breeze right now. Feels good though. Our desert view is right here behind me. You know, when I packed my stuff, I forgot my can opener, but luckily I had a German utensil set, which is a knife, a fork, and a spoon, and the attachment or the holder is actually a can opener, so I used that to open it. It actually worked really well. And this is this little stove that I have here. I got it at Goodwill for $4, $3.99. This thing is a bomb. This thing works excellent. So I'm just making some I guess this is Marie Callender's soup tonight for dinner. I think it's about ready. Yeah, it's hot. Very hot. I don't want it to boil over. I'm going to have to let it sit a bit. And there goes the state park ranger. I'm glad he's doing a drive-by. He's checking in on things, making sure everybody's following the rules. Good for him. Glad to see it. Well, I'm sitting here by the campfire in Culp Valley, and it's about 7 o'clock tonight at night, and got the fire lit. You are allowed to have a fire here as long as it's in a fire ring, so I'm good there. In fact, the ranger came by, did a little circle around the camp, and then headed out. He was checking on everybody, so that's good. And just now, a great big bus just pulled in. I don't know if it's a Class A motorhome or a giant bus, but it's driving down the campfire, down the campground road. There's no place to camp here except for right next to me. And I wouldn't doubt this bastard's going to pull over here and he's going to park right next to me, because that's about the only space open up here. I don't know why he's driving this big bus in this small, narrow road. It's not a very good idea. But anyway, I guess we'll see what happens. He's making a right-hand turn, but there's no place to camp over there. I've already looked. Well, good morning. I was rolling over in my Jeep, and I looked out the back window, and there was a very large coyote, probably 30 feet from the back of my Jeep. And he saw me, and then sprinted up on top of the hill and turned around for one more look, and I got a picture, and then he scampered up into the rocks and out of sight, so that was kind of cool. But look at the gorgeous sunrise this morning. Wow, that's impressive. Well, good morning. It's Thursday morning here at the Culp Valley camp in Anza Borrego Desert State Park. And had an uneventful night last night, except for this morning when I woke up right around, it was just before sunrise. And I was kind of surprised. I was laying in the Jeep and I had the back window out of the Jeep and I was laying on my stomach and I kind of leaned up on my elbows, looked out the back window at the rocks behind me here, and there's a huge coyote, and he must have been 20 feet from the back of the Jeep. I think he must have smelled the food or something that I had over here. You know, you don't take bear precautions in the desert, so I'm not used to putting all my food in a secured location. I kind of really forgot about that. And he was literally right here on this rock next to my pack. And as soon as he saw the movement in the Jeep, he scampered up onto the rocks and gave me one quick look before he headed back up the hill. But it's a pretty nice wake up this morning. But gorgeous sunrise this morning. Right before the sun crested the rise over there, boy, it was just stunning. Oranges and reds and yellows just right over the edge of the rock outcrop on the other side of camp at Culp Valley. It was just stunning. So I took quite a few photos and took a little short video. If I would have got up any sooner, if I would have known, which I should have known, I would have went up to that same location where I was yesterday, and I would have got a great shot of Anza Borrego Valley with the sun coming up. But I got a pretty good one from here because my camp is in the foreground, so I think it ought to be a pretty good shot. Looks good on the phone at least. I made one little mistake yesterday on the way out here. And it's a pretty critical mistake for me. I forgot my coffee, but I was lucky in my little emergency bug out box that I can always keep in the Jeep. Besides the stove that I had in there, I also had a small little thing of coffee left over from my last backpack trip up in Cathedral Lakes. So I was able to make 2 cups of coffee. That's all I had. I just heated some more. It's kind of one of those coffees where you don't really have to brew it. It's instant. It's already got milk and sugar already added to it. So it's not cowboy coffee, but it's all I had. So that's what I'm making do with what I had. But I am this morning going to do bacon. I'm going to do bacon and eggs. I'm going to have a good breakfast, actually. I've got bacon frying in the skillet right here. And not quite ready to turn over yet. No, it's got a ways to go still. Hopefully I have enough firewood. The only thing it's my saving grace is, that's another thing I forgot. Besides the coffee, I forgot my firewood. I had a box of firewood. I was planning on using my G-stove. I was going to set the G-stove up just out here somewhere. But then I found this nice fire ring, and I thought, well, what's the point of setting up the G-stove? And I already got a fire ring and a grate. So it's just extra work, extra things for me to clean when I get home. So I decided to cook over at the open fire, which seems to always taste better anyway. I'm going to use the skillet. I got this skillet at Salvation Army for, I think, $1.99. It's like a Teflon-coated aluminum skillet with a folding handle. So this would be a great skillet to take backpacking. But I'm going to use it here in the campsite. And I think I got the coffee pot. I think that came from Goodwill as well. This is, I think it's a GSI kettle. I'm not sure. It could be Coleman or from Walmart. It's stainless steel. It's pretty well made though. It's not aluminum. It's stainless. So, and I took all the guts out of it. I just used it to heat up the water for the coffee. But anyway, it's warming up already. It's probably in the mid-50s. I'm about ready to take my jacket off. I gotta wait for this peppered bacon to cook. I've got some eggs over here, so I'm gonna do 3 eggs and bacon. I also brought some pico de gallo and some guacamole and some tortillas, so maybe I'll make me kind of like a huevos rancheros this morning. That'll be good. I also brought some pancake mix. I was thinking about doing some bannock last night, but I didn't think I was going to have enough firewood. I was kind of lucky. I did bring a small box of firewood, and my saving grace is I had 3 big blocks of really hard white oak. And this stuff burns great on the fire. It's not like pine. It doesn't get really hot and then burn out real fast. This stuff, It's a low, steady burn. It burns for a long time. I had it on, I had one or two of these on yesterday at night, and it lasted 3 hours, I think, before it finally went out. So anyway, I'm going to have a big breakfast and tidy up around camp, pack up, and head home. I'll be home in about an hour, a little less. So nice little quick jaunt out here to Anza Borrego. Got a chance to see a gorgeous sunrise. Got to see a coyote really close to my camp. And it was a nice, quick little getaway. I really enjoyed it. So anyway, hopefully here in a few minutes, I'll be able to flip the bacon. And once that's done, I'll be able to get the eggs going and make me some huevos rancheros. All right, I'll check back with you in a little bit. Well, I've got my bacon and eggs cooking here on the open fire. And I'm going to heat up some tortillas and maybe make huevos rancheros out of it. Let it cook for a few more minutes, and then I should be ready to go. Well, I broke camp at Culp Valley, and I drove just a little ways, not even a half mile from the campsite, and I saw the turnoff for Pena Spring, or Pena Spring, depending on whether you pronounce it in English or Spanish. And I took the drive. It was about a half mile, I guess, off the main access road, and I came to a turnaround here, and it says the spring is 0.4 of a mile. So I got time to kill, so I'm going to run down there. I talked to a girl yesterday that was doing a hike, and she said there's no water down there, but I'd still like to see it. Well, it appears that Pena Spring is down here somewhere in this little canyon. And I've been going steadily downhill since I left the car. So it's going to be a little tougher going back. I'm going to be going uphill the whole way in the sand. Thank God it's short. It's deathly quiet out here. It is pretty though. A lot more color than I thought. Well, you have to admit they did a good job in signage. There's been signage everywhere. All right, here's a sign here. It says, "End of trail." Okay, well, where's the spring? I guess I have to hunt around for it. Well, my guess is water flows through here in the wetter months. That, of course, now this time of year, there's not much left. But you can tell that there's a lot more greenery down here. And probably this right here is probably a pond. But not today. Today it's dry as a bone. Still pretty though. Well, I guess that's going to be it for our adventure out here to Culp Valley. Our little side jaunt down to Pena Spring. And my little impromptu camp out in Culp Valley. It was a nice little place. Not a lot of amenities. You know, there's no water. There's no picnic tables. But there is a nice fire ring, and there's one bathroom that is available if you need to do a sit down, you know what I mean? But it was pretty quiet. Not a lot going on. Absolutely stunning sunrise this morning, and a pretty sunset yesterday. So now I just got to hump it back up the hill, back to the car at the turnaround for Pena Springs and make the drive back home. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed this short adventure here in Culp Valley and the top end of Anza Borrego Desert State Park. And I'll catch you next time on another edition of Anthony's Audio Journal. Take care. Bye-bye.